wrestling debate.
I think Cody Rhodes is above copying his brother's shit. Is what I'm trying to say. I don't think, because I really do think he's the better of Dustin Rhodes. And to me, Dustin Rhodes' career is long over. Right. He's not getting a main event shot. He's not going to be, main event WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes still has this shot.
And now here's Tyler Willard, Wayne Kurt.
Listen, I guess chalk up a pay-per-view win for Stardust and Goldust. Yeah. This new gimmick for Cody Rhodes, and so yeah, I mean, they got a win against Rybaxel.
Yeah.
It was kind of a match that was kind of just put on the card last minute, but anyhow, I mean,
what was the most last minute match on the card though?
No, there were more. Last minute. I mean, we went through the pay-per-view last week, and it was like, what, we had like 4 matches or something.
Well, 5, because I
don't know, 4 or 5.
I the Rusev Big E match, which I knew they were going to add eventually. But Tyler, your first network pay-per-view, how was it?
It was good. I mean, the feed for me was all. I mean, there was a couple moments where it had a bit of an issue, but it didn't really lag too bad or anything. And overall, I mean, it was a pretty good pay-per-view. I mean, if anybody, again, we talked about it last week too. If anybody was expecting somebody other than John Cena to win the title match, the main event, then I guess the joke was on you, because we kind of said last week, let's not be surprised when
WWE also kind of teased it by accidentally leaking supposedly
the SummerSlam,
the Blu-ray cover for SummerSlam, and had John Cena and Brock Lesnar on the cover.
Yeah, so. I mean, it kind of foreshadows that main event, which is, I guess we'll be talking about how they get to that point later.
Yeah. But
yeah, I mean,
go through the card.
Yeah.
Opening contest was
Wyatt, Eric Rowan, and Luke Harper.
It gets the Usos.
Coming out to different music, theme music.
Then the Raw one, yeah. So everyone's wondering how long that whole shitty. He got the whole one in his hand song was going to last. It
seemed like that was like
not long.
A one-night occasion, yeah.
So it I don't know, just sounded like some generic country music. It sounded like, but wasn't a bad match. Wasn't expected to be. I was shocked it was the opening contest, but
I was shocked that the Usos won. I'm thinking, here Eric Rowan and Luke Harper are coming out to this new theme song, and this, and I think we predicted that.
Yeah, but I think I know who might be taking the belts off the Usos, because a certain team that might be going to the main roster soon commented on Twitter after the match about how we're coming for the belts, Usos, and so the Ascension might be the team taking the belts off, maybe.
Yeah.
Assuming after they debut eventually on the main roster, but so no, I was shocked too. I thought the Wyatts were going to win to maybe add more to that whole. Well, gee, if Bray wins, that means they got like half of the belts in the roster in that, but it did not happen.
No.
But I don't know.
Still good match.
Oh, very good match. I'd probably give it like a 3.5 out of 5. I had to rate it.
Yeah, not a bad opening.
Wasn't bad. That's a nice. Even Eric Rowan, the weakest guy, I think, in the Wyatts as far as ring development goes and such. Yeah, I mean, even he had some moments in that match too. But I think when Luke Harper eventually breaks away from the Wyatts, that's a guy you got to watch out for.
Yeah.
He's grossly underrated in this company, and as far as wrestling ability, and even like as far as mic skills go, I think even when he cuts promos, it's up there with Bray Wyatt to a degree. Yeah. So, but no, I mean, it wasn't a bad win it was actually a solid win for the Usos. I mean, they're building momentum in a tag team.
And
so when they eventually lose the belts, that team's gonna get a lot of momentum too. Then instantly.
After that, I'm not sure they were. It might have been the Divas match.
Yeah, Divas match. It was Paige against Naomi.
Yeah, well, I thought that was a pretty good Divas match.
Yeah, actually was very good for I think it went like 8 minutes long, which is actually pretty unheard of for a Divas match.
Yeah, which is consider the next night that it didn't matter when AJ Lee would return on Raw, but.
Yeah, Mrs. CM Punk came back.
Yeah, so, apparently is not pregnant then.
Yeah. Well, no, but there were also rumors online about, oh God, she's married to Punk. She's gonna get cut soon, released, or if she comes back, she'll get jobbed out. Well, gee, I guess that all fell through the curve there.
Yeah.
It's funny too. Those same people after AJ Lee wins the title, those same people who said that, oh, she's married to Punk now officially. She's gonna get fired now, saying, well, I guess Punk's coming back soon now. Because why the hell would AJ still get the title? And so on. Well, yeah, but did you watch the pre-show?
No, I didn't. Oh, I did see the highlights with Daniel Bryan talking and.
Yeah, the Bo Dallas. Oh, we probably should talk about
that. Was good. Yeah,
that was an amazing,
we'll
amazing showdown there.
Yeah.
But
since they didn't have a match for
when they showed the history of the Money in the Bank, they showed last year's, the 6 competitors, and they showed Randy Orton, they showed Rob Van Dam, they showed Sheamus, they showed Daniel Bryan. Who else was in the match?
Ambrose, or was that the other one?
No, that was the other one. Shit, I forgot the 6 people. But anyway, the one name they don't show, the one person they do not show that was in that match, CM Punk.
Yeah.
They completely edited him out of that match.
Yeah.
Like, I'm serious time. They show the entrances of the 5 competitors, even though there were 6 in the match.
Yeah.
And they don't show Punk's entrance. There's one shot where you see him there, but his face is facing the camera. But it's just, that shows you where his
right, yeah.
Where he's at in the company, I think. Yeah. They don't even want to show him on camera to the point now. It's like, no, we don't want to be affiliated with this guy anymore, essentially. I just left my ass off when I saw that footage, and there was no CM Punk anywhere.
You can always tell, yeah. But yeah, the openings, the pre-show segment with Daniel Bryan. Yeah, now it's come to our attention that he's probably going to need another neck surgery, and it'll be even longer until he returns. Yeah. Not SummerSlam.
There's actually been reports he might not even come back this year. Period. He might not.
Like, it might be till WrestleMania season.
Well, yeah, the Royal Rumble maybe and so on. But yeah, no. So that's not good news there.
Obviously not good.
Of course, he's not the only one that got hurt either there. But we'll get to that later on the Raw probably. But so we had that match. Third match I think was the Adam Rose versus Paul Revere, aka Damien Sandow. It's amazing though, Damien Sandow. This guy won Money in the Bank last year.
I know it's.
And in 1 year, Tyler.
Yeah.
He's dressed up as Paul Revere coming out.
Yeah.
Doing the whole give me liberty, give me definite. I don't know. It just is kind of. I am curious to know what this guy did to get in the doghouse so bad in this company.
Yeah, me too.
There's some people saying that this is all a ploy to maybe lead to a Sandow face turn, and then getting repushed. And it's like, I don't see it though, especially after watching Raw. What happened to him against Khali?
Yeah, I mean that's it's a shit. Like he'll come out and impersonate like Vince McMahon, and and then Khali will come out who's never on TV and just destroy him, and it's a shame.
Yeah. It wasn't even a match time. It was one chop and the 3 count. That was it. It was a match. It wasn't even a match. It was
like I could see him like coming out and impersonate like as a face, like impersonating all the heels on the roster, each week, and maybe not getting destroyed. Each week, and I don't know, but
I'm just curious what the hell this guy did to get in the doghouse so bad.
Yeah,
because it's funny. He's probably.
I just think somebody owes us an explanation.
Besides maybe a Mr. Kennedy up there, he's probably the weakest Money in the Bank winner ever.
Yeah, one of the cash-ins that failed.
Yeah, well, like I said,
miserably.
But but more specifically, never walked way over a world title. Pretty much once Kennedy, that was the highest point of his career. After he lost it, which is kind of that's kind of hilarious how Kennedy lost it. That whole, it's a severe injury. Kennedy's gonna miss a couple months too. Yeah. Oh, it's not that serious. It's only gonna be a couple weeks.
Yeah,
it's so on that, but still, it's funny that you have a guy like Mr. Kennedy that won it, and he didn't go anywhere with it.
Yeah,
and they got sent out, and I feel like it's even worse. Like he's just a jobber now.
Yeah. Yeah,
but Adam Rose coming out wearing a hat now. I guess they're really trying to distinguish that this is a guy. This guy's a rocker.
Yeah.
So he comes out wearing. I almost feel like is a Slash from Guns N' Roses hat to a degree.
Yeah.
So I guess, but I don't know. They were humming his song, so I guess he's getting over. I don't know. Well, that's the thing. I feel like Bo Dallas is getting pushed. I feel like Adam Rose is kind of still undefeated, but he hasn't faced anybody legitimate
yet.
Right, yeah. So, I don't know. But anyway, Adam Rose wins. There was that brief moment I thought Cena was going to pull off an upset, though.
Yeah.
I think he hit his finisher, and he got only like a 2.5 count or something.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so Adam Rose wins. I guess it was an okay match.
Yeah. And then that brought us to the first ladder match. Well, the Money in the Bank briefcase ladder match traditional.
Yep.
It was and yeah. It
No
was
Bad News Barrett though. I mean, they
No,
even
yeah.
they announced that in the pre-show, but a lot of people thought that maybe they would sub in somebody, but
Yeah.
nope. It was they just
Yeah, we talked last week how there was an injury and yeah, and that's gonna essentially put the Intercontinental Championship on the line as they would announce on Raw.
Yeah.
At the Battleground pay-per-view in a Battle Royal.
Yep.
So that was that. But yeah, no Wade Barrett. But yeah, I thought. But you know,
did you
six
catch
men.
the Ambrose promo before also? Like,
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on it?
Case or face. Yeah, I mean.
Case or face.
Yeah, I mean, everything Dean Ambrose does. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
I'm
and yet
impressed by
he'll probably be he's the third wheel. It feels like, especially after this match.
Yeah, but whatever he's doing, I mean, it's gonna work anyways.
Yeah.
I mean,
so. But yeah, no, the whole. I thought it was an excellent promo, especially
everyone.
when you then see the other 5 guys doing 30-second stereotypical promos. Then the whole.
I'm gonna win the money. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm winning the Royal Rumble. I'm gonna win, and then okay, cut. When you get only like 30, 15 seconds that they give you, cut an amazing promo.
Yeah.
But even like Rollins usually is amazing on the mic. Like even he could do magic for those 15 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe I don't know if they tell him what to say or pre-taped, but
Well, that's the thing there too. There's always people joking when these guys are backstage, and they're not looking at the interviewer. They're like looking somewhere off in the distance, and people always say, "Yeah, it's a glorified teleprompter or prompt cards they're looking at." Card,
yeah.
Like they're really being fed what to say in that. Yeah. Like it's not like it's all in their head or anything.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, good stuff from Ambrose as you would expect. And a good match. Now the match.
It was the better of the Money in the Bank match.
Yeah, I thought it was. I mean, you had either that 6 spot with Seth Rollins bouncing off the ladder twice and then just falling to the floor.
Well, he bounced off the ladder, but then the ladder kind of, I guess, due to the impact, actually got unhinged from the ladder.
Yeah.
It just fell down, which created Rollins to bounce off it twice.
Yeah. That was quite a moment there. And
well, yeah, that's a funny thing. But ever since Rollins was a heel, that he was not going to take any like vicious spots or anything, because that's what a heel usually doesn't do. Until you saw that spot, I was like, "Oh God, this guy still wants to kill himself for our entertainment."
Yeah. I mean, but after that, in the next night in Raw, I mean, he was walking fine. So I guess, and you remember, that the debut match of the Shield when he takes that sick, table spot in the back of his head, I don't know. The guy can take spots, I guess.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I mean, the story of this match was like how I guess you'd think the Authority kind of got these doctors out to tend to Ambrose. You can't compete in this match anymore.
Dislocate your shoulder. You got Ambrose going, pop it in. I don't care. Pop it in.
Yeah. So later on in the match, he comes running out, and the crowd goes crazy over this, and
which shows you how over this guy's getting as a babyface.
Right. Yeah.
Like even on Raw when he came out,
the
place with ballistic. So this guy's really getting over as a babyface.
Yeah. And and then of course with Kane, Kane comes out. I guess Plan B here, Triple H's Plan B, since it seems to be another key term. Kane helping out.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins holding the ladder steady and everything, and Seth Rollins eventually getting the title. But it was it was a good match.
Kind of foreshadowing maybe something happening maybe later in the night as well.
Right.
Like I said, I felt like this match was just the build up towards the main event Money in the Bank match in a way. But no, I agree. Well, I mean, talk about other 6 spots. The
Kofi Kingston bouncing off the rope when he was falling off the ladder, kind of like a trampoline. That was one.
Well, speaking of Kofi, how about that zigzag on the ladder that
that was
him and Ziggler did, and both of them hit their forehead on that ladder too. So yeah. I mean, I mean, a lot of, not to mention Swagger did his jump thing, but he did it on top of a ladder. He had a ladder though. So
there's that big power bomb.
Bob Van Dam screwed up his ankle a little bit that one spot.
Yeah, he was
I don't know if that was planned or not.
I don't know. He was hanging from it, just dangling, from
awkwardly too.
Yeah,
I
saw that. Yeah,
and all of a sudden he goes immediately outside the ring, and I thought I saw a ref actually waving over a doctor to check on it. He got back in the match in that, but I almost felt like that was that wasn't planned.
Right.
Well, I think him dangling was planned, but I don't think him dangling awkwardly from the ladder was planned.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, for a second, I almost had a nightmare of what happened in 2005 with him, and I think it was his ankle too. He kind of screwed up the same way.
Yeah.
That whole like ACL injury he had back in the day. I don't really think, oh god, we didn't like tear his ACL again or something.
Yeah.
But no, I think all he did was maybe he hyperextended maybe, because and then he got right back in it and was walking fine in that. But that was a scare in the match, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, so, that was overall good match, and Seth Rollins is now the holder of the Money in the Bank briefcase. Not surprised here, but obviously, good direction for
And like
Seth
I said,
Rollins.
he's probably be the first member of the Shield to hold on to a world title based on that.
Yeah, by the
that
logic,
briefcase.
yeah. And by the, from what Triple H is saying, we'll get into later, I guess, as things continue. But after that, I mean, you had back to a few more normal matches. One of them was Rusev and Big E Langston having a bit longer of a match this time than the one they had at Payback. Pretty good match, although Big E wasn't seen on Raw, so I guess maybe for now that feud's kind of over.
Yeah.
Rusev getting the win again. Keeping his momentum going.
Still undefeated.
Right. Yeah. You also had I guess one of those love triangle matches with Fandango's special guest referee.
The
kind of to throw it on the card, last minute.
It was also in that bad buffer spot that most Divas matches have been in, which is
the bathroom
the
break
match before the main event, which is like
Yeah.
the worst spot you can be on a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it was compared to that amazing Divas match between Paige and Naomi.
Yeah.
We watched this cluster of a match.
Yeah.
All you saw was Fandango just dancing with most of the time. Like he didn't even care. Like
Yeah.
Shockingly though, Summer Rae lost. I thought she was gonna win, but
yeah.
But then again,
Bit of
you watch Raw and you kind of see maybe why they did that.
Yeah.
So, like I said, then Stardust and Goldust won their match.
Yeah, we hinted that earlier.
I mean, it sounds like the character's getting over, so I guess Stardust is here to stay.
I guess for now, yeah.
I don't know if that. Like I said, if he main events WrestleMania with a Stardust gimmick, it blows my mind.
I'd be shocked. Yeah.
That's like.
Yeah.
That's what this guy needed to get into a main event level position, was to copy his brother's gimmick.
Yeah.
Maybe even be weirder than his brother. Because if you notice, when he comes out, he just starts staring at he goes to the I don't want to say the video screen, but it's like it's where his name's at.
Yeah.
We should put the rest of his names in that, and it's like stars everywhere, and he's like touching it, and he's like almost like reaching for like the stars in that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is Stardust on angel dust? Like, does he like see imaginary things when he's in this gimmick?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, but
I don't know, but I don't know. We were laughing at Curtis Axel's new ring gear.
Yeah.
It just says jobber. That ring gear that he has on. I almost feel like that they just did that because they're a tag team and they apparently they go the whole gear.
Kind of.
Yeah. You guys gotta wear the same ring gear now. But just when I saw that, I'm thinking that just screams jobber.
Yeah. Yeah. So then that brought us to the main event ladder match.
Yeah.
The 8 competitors. Again, I mean, if you were expecting somebody else to win other than Cena here, I mean, it's too bad. I mean, so knowing that Cena was basically going to win ahead of time, I wasn't that disappointed when it did actually happen.
I saw it coming. There were a few moments when you thought somebody else was going to maybe get it.
Yeah,
especially when nobody was in the ring.
Right. It'll stuff like that'll always happen in these matches,
But no, I mean,
once everyone's
how about Orton's gash?
Yeah. The ladder, I guess, like kind of like Roman Reigns apparently like it kind of just like fell.
Yeah, and
it's kind of fun, because a couple months ago, Once Upon a Time, on a house show, obviously, Reigns had that big gash at his eye from Randy Orton, like kind of like power slamming, like kind of a miscue, I guess, from a spear, and then the next week on Raw they play it up like 9 stitches, and the question is that all you, and now here 2 months later.
But it wasn't Orton. It wasn't stitches. It was staples. He needed 12 staples
Yeah.
That's kind of
almost
different than stitches, Tyler.
Yeah, worse than
That's usually worse.
That's what I'm saying. Like Roman Reigns kind of like one upped them here with as far as gashes go, and then just kind of
it's kind of funny. Like, there was a moment where I'm like, where the hell did Orton go? And also, he seemed getting tended to. Like, okay, we got busted open in that, but I guess his spot. That's the thing that when they're trying to clean it up here, but that there's spots planned. Like you kind of like see Orton just like push the doctor aside. It's like, oh shit, my spot's coming up. I can't miss this spot here. And then I guess he decided to keep him in there. But then towards the end of the match, you just see this massive blood coming.
They're like cutting. They're like cutting like they're like cutting like to somebody else, and they cut to Orton, and each cut back to Orton. It's like there's more and more blood coming
out of his.
It's like, it was just kind of comical there. And,
I mean, eventually everybody who started fighting Orton started getting blood over their gear and that. I mean,
some people were like joking like the IWC be like, oh, Orton's bleeding everywhere. The Attitude Era is coming back, and this and that. And
yeah, but
it was real. No,
it was done the hard way.
Yeah, there was no blood capsules or anything.
It wasn't blading. It wasn't intentional blading.
Yeah, no blading.
It was just
no blading.
A ladder hit his forehead and opened up a massive gash.
Incidentally. So, this things happen.
I mean, to his credit though, he showed up on Raw the next night.
Yeah,
with Trove Staples.
Yeah, of course they show in the the doctors.
Granted, he had to take a lot of bumps for a lot of obvious reasons. And you don't want any of those staples popping out.
Right. Yeah.
So, but still, the fact that he showed up the next night and was performing shows how much how tough this guy is.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, obviously the storyline was that Reigns had a chance to win it at one point, but the double team of Orton and Kane was too much, and then Cena comes in and Attitude just
Cena doesn't do too much the entire match, but again, I mean, wasn't surprised. Well, yeah, I mean, once everybody started doing their finishers, I kind of knew, like, all right, now it's, wait until Cena it's Cena's turn, and then AA's,
The funny spot people were making fun of, too, was that when Cesaro and Sheamus were holding on to the belts at the same time, both of them were so big, and they were so high, that it blew some people's minds of how they could. How could they reach and unhook it while they were up there?
Yeah, that and the belts were like they were hanging on the belts. The belts had to be like they have to be really fastened well. I guess you could call it. Yeah. I was surprised.
Yeah. I mean, surprising one of them didn't fall off in that, but I thought that was a pretty cool spot. Them punching each other up there.
Yeah, and then of course you had the spot. I think it was Cesaro. They had like this setup where the ladder was like pushed in between. That was pretty.
That was pretty crazy too.
Cesaro was on there, and I don't know, was it Sheamus that was on there?
That's what led to them hanging on to the belts at the same time. Because essentially what happened was Cesaro is doing like this fancy footwork gang around the ladder to like the area where Sheamus is at with the belts, and they just both hang on to him. Then
and then you have and then you have Roman Reigns just like deadlift the ladder set with the guys on it. That was pretty cool. You just that was a pretty cool moment there. But and then the ladder, like the setup, kind of just like hanging, kind of leaning down because the way the ladder was wedged in between there, and then Cena like pushes it back, and so that was pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean nobody definitely the other match I think had more the six spots, I guess you could say that.
But to be fair,
which is understandable, I guess.
But I think at the same time there when the first one had guys trying to prove themselves, you talk about guys that are trying to get noticed again.
Yeah.
Especially Ziggler. If you notice now when Ziggler comes out there, he's really telling the crowd here, yo, because they're hearing you backstage here, and they can't ignore people's reactions to me for very long. Which I guess shows you where his attitude in the company is right now. But and because once you're in this main event spot there, you kind of do got this we got to protect myself more now. I can't risk hurting myself, and, because when you miss time, you might kill your momentum then essentially. Yeah. So no, I mean to me the thing that got people flipped out about the finish was not that Cena won. It's not that Michael Cole said he was a 15-time world champion.
Yeah.
It was that it was the line that he said afterwards to close the pay-per-view, which was John Cena is perhaps the greatest WWE champion in the history of wrestling.
That's right. Yeah.
Wrestling.
I'm thinking,
and that all of a sudden led the internet to explode.
I think he straight up said John Cena is the greatest champion
of the history of the company.
He's probably
and all of a sudden, after those lines were uttered, that caused the internet to just implode or explode to a degree.
Yeah. The
recipe. So Tyler, I figured we can debate that now.
Yeah.
is Cena with his track record. No, I'm serious. If Cena with his current track record, and the fact that he's probably going to be getting at least at the minimum 5 more reigns probably under his belt by the time he's done, then which means he'll be like a 20-something time world champion, which is unheard of in the history of wrestling. Period.
Right. Yeah.
I don't even think Ric Flair got that many. To a degree, I mean, I know he has Flair. It wasn't 16. You'd say like 22 or something. So if Cena got to like 25, Cena would have surpassed Flair. You know, you look at it in that. You look at the number of time the years he's been on top. The fact that if you developed a Mount Rushmore of the 4 best superstars in wrestling, you would probably have to include Bruno Sammartino, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and you got to include John Cena then, probably in the Mount Rushmore of wrestling then. As far as
depends how you look. I mean, it depends how you look at it too.
Who would you include in the Mount Rushmore then?
Well, I mean Hogan, because Hogan, I don't know. Yeah, some people look at him as like as John Cena of back then in a way.
Yeah, but here's what I gotta admit here though. Without Hulk Hogan, wrestling would not have gone mainstream.
Right. Yeah.
Bruno Sammartino was maybe the first mega star in the history of wrestling too. He had a 7-year reign. I mean, so you got to include him on. You got to include him on there. You know, you can't include Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels because unfortunately those guys never drew well as champions. Yeah. Austin's what brought wrestling back to mainstream to a degree.
Yeah.
And then you got to include, you can't include Rock in there because or Triple H or the Undertaker because those guys really. They weren't the number one guy back then.
Yeah, I mean, it depends if you look at it like impact or if you look at it in like, kayfabe, like what they accomplished. I don't know because The Rock.
I'm going based on impact to the company.
Yeah.
I mean, because let's face it, they get to what Cena's done. Cena's been involved in how many organizations this company has never, in the history has been involved in. It has a lot to do with John Cena.
Yeah.
Austin never got involved with Make-A-Wish as much as John Cena has. Yeah. That's just a fact now. People got to.
Then the company pushes
the Susan G. Komen Foundation. I mean, Special Olympics now. I mean, we're talking about organizations that would not touch this company with a 10-foot pole.
The troops, the company in more recent years has definitely pushed that stuff more too.
Yeah, and like I said, and that's the reason why
they've been expanding.
And that's the reason why the PG era is not going to end because one of the reasons why they probably got that was because they went PG. They went more kid friendly.
Yeah, I mean the ratings might not be as good, but
but they're also getting sponsors from sponsors they usually never got back in the day. Yeah. That includes the Attitude Era when they were breaking up money left and right, supposedly, in that.
Yeah.
So, Mount Rushmore, it's Sammartino, Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, and John Cena.
I mean, I guess Impact, I don't know. I mean, I might have The Rock in there still, but...
But what has Rock done Impact wrestling-wise besides maybe saying that...
I don't know. I'm just talking about, on the camera and, in character, everything... Because I mean, we're getting like things like off camera here. We're like getting
but to me, that's how you judge the success of a wrestler. There is what they do off camera, not just what they do on camera.
Well, I mean, I don't know because back then, I mean, the company didn't push those, these extra things, the sponsors, as much as they do now. I mean, nowadays they're they bring up the Special Olympics in the middle of Raw and everything. I mean, they really
but even
they do a good job of that.
As good as Rock was, he never outdrew Austin.
No, but it was.
I mean, if you're gonna ask who
he didn't outdraw him, but he was right there.
Well, that's debatable. That's debatable.
As far as impact goes. No, I mean
he took over that spot as soon as Austin had to go with the neck surgery. That's when Rock became the guy in that. But even then, it's just because people would just say it's because Austin got hurt. That was it. If Austin didn't have to go through neck surgery, he would have been number 2 babyface for life. He would have essentially been CM Punk to John Cena.
Yeah. Well, not just that, but I mean, Rock was, he was a heel too, like a lot of that time.
Yeah.
Austin was, pretty much babyface.
I mean, if you ask Triple H there too, that's one of the things that always irritated him was that he never was going to get to Austin's level.
Yeah.
And there would be people saying mainly due to Austin's neck surgery that Triple H was the better wrestler at the time as far as technical ability goes and that. But he did have the most over character. granted, he went the route also that kind of Punk went, which is okay. I can be number one. If I can't be number one babyface, I'll be number one bad guy then. And to a degree, he was to a degree in the Attitude Era number one bad guy Triple H. But the Undertaker was never the number one guy throughout his career, and he's had probably the longest career in the history of the company. That's due to him also reinventing his character consistently and keeping it fresh and updated and relevant. That's something that a lot of performers are gonna have a tough time doing. But no, I mean, greatest champion. I mean, I think it comes down to it. I think eventually.
Well, he has more. I mean, he's gonna have more championship reigns than everybody else.
So does that make him the greatest champion? I guess based on
it's like
champion.
We're talking like kayfabe and
Well, that's the point there too. Here, but I think as far as when I think greatest champion, you got to throw number of reigns in here.
Well, yeah, I mean,
he has
the more. Yeah,
you always got to throw in other stuff too. I think as far as like, well, who's he beaten and that, and he's beaten legends.
Yeah.
Predetermined or not, he's beating legends to get the hold on to the championships in that. I mean,
even though it's made the company look less creative at times and predictable. I mean, I'm talking like WrestleMania 29 here and stuff like that. I mean, he'll have that on his I guess his bucket list, or I don't know, checklist, whatever you want to call it. His list of accomplishments, his list of victories.
But I mean, but let's put it this way. When you look at it in hindsight, is he maybe the best representative this company's ever had in the history of this company?
Well, maybe, but, I think a lot of that would have to do with the way the WWE's been pushing people, too, and their mindset that,
Yeah, but, I mean, like I said, as far as bringing certain organizations into the company, that Austin couldn't do, that Hogan couldn't do. We bring up the fact that Hulk Hogan couldn't do some of the stuff that Cena's doing, and we're talking about the same cheesy character to a degree.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to put Cena above somebody then.
That's great. That he does all that stuff. But at the end of the day, like I'm here to like focus on the wrestling aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because I think.
But it's going to keep in mind too. I'm focused on the business aspect, which if you're going to run a business about wrestling, wrestling's good in that. But you better be selling some stuff.
But
here.
I think
and Cena has proven, and I've seen it with my own eyes going to a live event, that he's the top dog. Based on merchandise sales.
My point is that the company should be trying to get more people. That's what I'm saying, and it's I think like they've been the focus has been on Cena, all this time.
To John Cena's credit, there he stayed as far out of the title picture as he could.
Yeah, I mean,
and the company's credit, it's not like he's been the center of attention.
Like he hasn't been main eventing. Yeah.
And if you look at Raw,
but in the general picture of the past decade,
how has Raw closed the past couple of weeks? It has not been with Cena. It's been with Roman Reigns and somebody closing with the camera.
I'm talking.
So I'm just saying that's not something you would have saw back in the Hulk Hogan era. It always closed with Hogan back in Hogan's era. So to Cena's degree, I don't think it's that he's like not trying to put guys over. I felt like the last Raw was a good example of him putting a guy over.
Yeah.
What the camera close on? Roman Reigns, which is probably maybe his heir to the throne, to a degree. Which that's even got some people pissed off because they think Dean Ambrose should be the guy getting that spot, not Roman Reigns.
No, like as of late, like in a short term scale, like I mean, Cena hasn't been main eventing the pay-per-views as much in that. I'm just talking about like grand scheme, past 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you whittle it down to like lately. I mean, Cena had that short run as World Heavyweight Champion late last year, and then they unified the belts and this and that.
But I mean, I'll get this way too here. Besides the fact that Brock and John Cena probably sells better than, let's say, Roman Reigns and Brock does, something like that. Does somebody want to see Roman Reigns' first reign last 2 months and then drop the Brock Lesnar?
Yeah,
you need somebody. You need somebody who's going to drop the Brock, and it's not going to hurt the individual.
Yeah,
and Cena is untouchable when it comes to him dropping a belt.
Yeah.
So I mean, as far as the logic goes, if it would have been Roman Reigns and would have held the belt for 2 months, he would have dropped the Brock, and then the internet would have been saying, "Oh, great, the part-timer beats the young rising star."
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I didn't. Yeah, I mean, I didn't predict Reigns. I didn't predict anybody else really, other than John Cena to
because it just
win
made
this
sense.
match.
It made sense,
and I'm not complaining. Yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining about it either. But speaking of like moving forward here on Raw.
Like I said, I guess I just wanted to bring out the whole because I felt like that's when the internet exploded. It wasn't that Cena won. it was exploded when Michael brought up the whole greatest champion in the history of the company.
Yeah.
Which I think, maybe not now you can make that argument, but I think definitely 5 years from now you got to make that argument.
I mean, it depends. I mean, like when I heard that, I'm thinking, well, you know,
I would say this way: he is the greatest representative this company's ever had.
Represent, yeah. I mean,
representative as far as
I'm not going to dispute it. Yeah, I mean, I'm just talking about.
I don't know how you can dispute Cena's not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not.
I don't know how you can fill Austin in front of Cena as better representative of the company.
Yeah, I mean, I think
even Austin has admitted that Cena's been a better representative of the company.
Yeah, I'm not disputing it. I'm just talking about, you know, Michael Cole, you know, makes it, you know, that statement as the show's still going on, and you know, I mean, it's one thing they say it like off camera, you know, Michael Cole's, I don't know, backstage in an interview, and you know, nothing to do with, you know, what's going on in the storylines.
So your problem was that that's how the pay-per-view closed to the degree.
No, I didn't have a problem with that.
But no. I didn't have a problem with it, but
I just kind of like chuckled a little bit because I knew that like that was going to get the internet fans started.
Oh yeah. That's why I brought it up. Yeah, that's why I brought it up.
I'm just thinking it depends. You know, it depends how people look at it, and you know, I don't know. But I mean, you know, speaking of the championship, you know, I wasn't, you know, again, I wasn't shocked that Cena won, and I'm not complaining that because you know, I think Cena Lesnar, they could have a better, you know, they could have maybe a more competitive match and a less one-sided one.
It's actually funny there. I think when we get close to SummerSlam, I'm gonna maybe send you a link. Chris Jericho had on his podcast Paul Heyman and Edge, and they talked about anything from the streak ending to Brock in general to even like facing Taker at Mania and that. And Edge at one point brings up about how he thought it was a big mistake for the company to have Brock lose to John Cena on Extreme Rules.
Yeah, he thought in the way he lost. I mean,
no. He just started losing. Period. And he had a problem. He also had a problem with Brock losing the Triple H odds though, because he said, "Here's a guy that people pretty much know is a legitimate badass in real life. He's probably legitimately the toughest guy in the company." There's also like a funny bit there too, where they're joking about how Brock hates people in real life. To the degree now where he lives in Saskatchewan, Canada, we have two Canadians, Jericho and Edge, joking about how nobody in their right mind would just move to Saskatchewan because they like Saskatchewan. Yeah. There's nobody that lives in Saskatchewan, Canada. But Brock Lesnar wants to move there because nobody lives in Saskatchewan. And Paul says, to show you how much Brock hates people too, is before he moved to Saskatchewan, he lived in that small farm in like South Dakota or something. Yeah. And Paul said he hated that area because he was only 50 minutes away from a town of like 50 people. So even 50 people was too much for Brock Lesnar. And it's funny we hear the interview. It's funny when people say like, "Well, Brock didn't leave in 2004. He could have been the face of the company. He could have surpassed Cena." I'm like, after hearing this, no, he couldn't. Yeah. If Brock hates people, he can't do what John Cena can do, which is mingle with people.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, saying that, there's no wonder why Brock left the wrestling business because he knew what being the top guy meant. It meant getting up at like 5 a.m, doing an interview in like Australia or something. You know, it meant signing autographs, hanging out with people and that.
I mean,
Brock's not a people person. He's an ass kicker in real life.
Yeah. I mean, that could be an exaggeration about him, you know, hating people, but he's definitely like, you know, introverted. And
he likes to stay isolated.
Right? Like. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and you know, you're not going to argue with Brock Lesnar about how that's might be good or bad in that. But, no, but it's like I just remember laughing and chuckling there. It's like, man, there's on the internet guys that hear that and go, well, guess that explains why he was never going to be right for the company.
Yeah,
because you're not going to mingle in this company. You're going to be the top guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a guy you could picture, you know, helping out with the Special Olympics or anything. You know what I'm saying?
Not that Brock hates the special.
Right, exactly.
I think Brian was trying to say
not that there's anything against it.
It's not that Brock hates helping people and that.
He's just not the people person.
He's just he doesn't like hang out with too many people. It sounds
right. Yeah,
he likes to stay. He has to stay, I guess, with himself. You know, hunting deer by himself to the degree, or elk, or you know, I guess fighting a grizzly bear with his bare hands or something like that. Yeah. You know, but anyway, they talked about how Edge just thought, you know, as soon as Brock lost to Cena, that whole special attraction, Brock kind of lost that instantly to the degree.
Yeah, too. Yeah.
And this is the guy. Come on, this is the guy who WWE had come out on television come out and motivate John Cena to show that determination that Cena lost apparently at losing
Edge
the Rock.
came back to do that promo.
Exactly. They always talk about how Paul how did Paul get the call to become the mouthpiece for Brock.
Yeah.
And Paul said about how originally John Laurinaitis was going to be the mouthpiece for Brock. And Edge kind of like jokes around about how what John Laurinaitis was going to be the voice, like kind of like doing John's Laurinaitis' stereotypical voice in that. But it was really the promo that Brock caught that they did on his own by himself. And Brock kind of goes backstage with the microphone in his hand, and supposedly slams it on Vince's desk, and Vince just goes at him and goes, well, that could have gone better than So all Brock says was, I need help as far as Mike goes and that, and I guess eventually just came to the whole idea of, okay, let's bring in Paul because he's got a relation with Brock. But no, I remember like hearing Edge say that. I'm just like, I kind of agree with that because I'm like, I get that. I get how they didn't want to see John Cena, their company guy, lose to not one but two part-timers in 2 straight pay-per-views. Yeah. Having Brock lose his return match though kind of takes away that whole idea of him being this badass. Then, granted, Paul said they kind of brought him back after he's won I think 4 straight pay-per-view matches now. Now he's got he beat Triple H in a steel cage. He beat Punk in SummerSlam. Yeah. He destroyed Big Show with the 20 million chair shots and that. And then he ends the streak, which is never going to be taken away from the guy.
Right, yeah.
But Paul said, when it came down to the whole idea of Brock being a legitimate threat again, him ending the streak has made him a threat now.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, and winning the past
it's brought him back, though, to this whole, here's this dominant, superstar that should have been the guy coming off the gate to begin with, but... Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't lost in over a year now, since WrestleMania 29.
And he's ended the streak, something that's never going to happen again. Because they even talked about that, too. They asked Paul about, what was your reaction to literally being in a silent arena as soon as it happened? And Paul said, I actually understand what Bruno Sammartino understood when he had the belt dropped after the 7-year reign. Yeah. Because that's the thing, too, about Bruno's reign, too, is that I think a lot of people forget because of how old... Because of when Bruno was wrestling, it wasn't mainstream yet. Yeah. But he was maybe the most over superstar in wrestling at that time. The 7-year reign in that. People forget that when he dropped the belt to, I think it was Ivan Koloff in that, how the arena just was stunned. Because, when you have holding the belt for that long, you assume Bruno's always going to win. Yeah. 7 years, why end it now? Yeah. Kind of like the streak to a degree. So Paul's like, it's just, it felt like eerie. Like, he actually thought he was deaf for a second. Yeah. Just because you could drop a pin, literally. And he even said, like, when Brock's walking backstage and that, Brock even asked him, Paul, did I go deaf or something? Because I don't hear anybody. Yeah. And Paul goes, because they're just shocked right now.
Right, yeah.
And they talked the whole idea about, will there ever be a replicate, is ever going to be able to replicate the streak to a degree?
Yeah, well, they have to wrestle, 20 years.
But that's the thing. Edge joke said you got to look at least the minimum. A guy has to be 25 years old.
Yeah. Maybe even younger. But
20 years. Just get to 20-0.
Right, yeah.
25, he has to be 45 then to a degree, which is pretty much around Taker's age to a degree. So he said, okay, you'll get a guy who has to be like 25. He has to stay relevant for 20 years because that's the thing that makes Taker a legend. The guy was able to stay relevant for 20 years. Yeah. That means updating your character on a consistent basis and that, and not getting stale and so on.
Right.
Well, it's funny. You brought, I guess, the reason why you kind of hate Cena as the greatest guy champion.
No, I don't hate. I mean, I don't hate, but
like one of the criticisms is that his character's stale in that. Cena's response would be, "What do you mean? I change my shirt like every few months in that." And I guess I mean,
jean shorts to camouflage or what,
But that's the thing. He did that whole Marine kind of get up during the whole promotion of his movie too. But you know what I mean? Like I'm sure. I'm sure if you brought the question about people saying, "I think your character got too stale, John," I'm sure his response would be, "What do you mean? I changed my gear as far as colored shirts going at it." And that's his way of saying, that's me. We changing my character. It's like, but your character doesn't change. You just change the outfit you're wearing. Yeah. Taker has legitimately changed his character for 20 years. Yeah. It's not just the outfits he wore. He literally changed his characters. I mean, at one point he was a biker at one point in his career.
Yeah.
So you got to throw that in, and then Edge brought the key one too: intangibles, injury. These guys, that person has to be extremely healthy.
Right.
Has to
And
be,
he has been over.
can't be injury prone. Can't experience. I mean, Taker's had major injuries.
Yeah.
He's missed Manias.
Now the past few years, I mean, it's
Yeah.
been a part time. Yeah, one time a year.
That's
thing,
the point too. Then you gotta have the streak to the point where the company is saying, okay, you're getting old. Let's not throw away the streak here.
Yeah.
You know, rest up for a year and just do this one match and then go back to resting.
Yeah.
You know, recuperating your body in that. Because I think Jerry even asked like Paul's promo after Mania and so on. The Bruins said, so the Taker like really like collapsed after the match. He said, yeah. I mean, he actually walked backstage. He got to the gorilla position and a concussion. Yeah. Which again, Paul said, I've never seen an individual so tough. Because the fact that he wrestled a match with a concussion all the way.
Yeah.
It was able to no sell it all the way until he got backstage and there was no cameras on him and just collapsed then.
Yeah. And I mean, you saw him like trying to do the tombstone on Lesnar too. That looked difficult. And,
but that's the thing too. Everybody's talking about how that match was shitty. I'm like, okay, was it shitty was it horrible because it was Brock, or was it horrible because Taker was concussed during the match? It's tough to work a good match with a guy who's concussed.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? We're not gonna know because. Brock does. I don't think Brock's going to talk about this in years.
Yeah.
And Taker's, we're talking about isolation too. Taker lives on a ranch by himself.
Yeah.
Too. I mean, in the middle of Texas, nonetheless. So, but I'm waiting for the day when Austin's going to have Taker as his guest because he's supposed to talk to Taker one time. I think it was WrestleMania weekend. He said, "Hey, you want to be a guest on my podcast?" And Taker said, "Yeah, I'll do that." And that happens. That's going to be the most watched podcast I think. But this Jericho one was interesting too, with Edge and Paul Heyman. I mean, it was a very fun podcast. I mean, a two-parter too. But it was very good.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Jericho making his return, surprise.
That was the funny thing too. I'm like, it's like you have Jericho talking smack about the company, like having Drew McIntyre as his guest, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, he's back on television now.
Yeah, I guess the feud with the Wyatts, it looks like
putting Bray Wyatt over.
Yeah,
because like I said, much like Rob Van Dam, Jericho's days of being the man are over.
Right, yeah.
He's there to put young talent over.
There to kind of do what John Cena didn't do.
someone would say, someone made that argument too.
Yeah, but I mean, then again, I mean, Jericho's probably not. He's not going to win a world title, so
I mean, it makes sense because Jericho has talked highly about some young guys. And he said he always brought about how I would want to face I would definitely want to face Wyatt's character right now.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, earlier than that, I mean, they had like Sheamus with the Usos team, so I mean, I don't know. We'll see how that whole thing goes.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, Chris Jericho, I guess, being the real return over the Miz's return. I mean,
it was funny how they're hyping that up there with the limo and all that.
Yeah.
And you even see that the little helicopter deal, which kind of I felt was like a Rock tease.
Yeah.
You ever saw Hollywood Rock? Hollywood Rock. It starts with a helicopter moving to a building, and that's what this video starts out with. All of a sudden, the Miz's theme plays.
Yeah.
And to a degree, he is going with this whole Hollywood gimmick now, even though he's not a Hollywood
I
star.
mean, but I mean, like the ovation, like for the it was flat. It was.
My God! It was
like,
flat. Yeah.
I was like, hopefully, like somebody else is returning, like in play, because there's gonna be a lot of TikTok fans if this is. This is
most high disappointed moment probably of the show.
Somebody owes us an explanation.
But then Jericho's music hits, and that crowd goes
right.
And then then the Wyatts interfere. I mean,
which leads me to believe that Miz's return, he's not gonna be anything more than a mid carder like he was. At least that's what I got out of that whole sequence.
I laughed when he got in Jericho's face and said, "I'm the Marine, damn it!"
Yeah.
So like that,
Yeah. So that and
so Miz. Well, technically, he is more of the Marine than John Cena. He's done 2 Marine movies. John Cena couldn't even get a sequel out of his movie.
Yeah. But and then speaking of, I guess maybe patriotism, we got July 4th coming up tomorrow. Jack Swagger, the Real American, appears to have turned babyface.
Yeah.
Having a very interesting moment with Zeb Coulter, a very interesting exchange with Rusev.
It was funny there because I remember listening to the Solid Monsters podcast, and this guy brought up as a viewer question saying, "Do you think it makes sense to turn Jack Swagger heel and have him feud with Rusev?" Especially with Lana all these anti-American promos and that.
Right.
It's the whole point of their gimmick is we're real Americans.
Yeah.
We love this country so much.
Yeah, it was a good way to turn him babyface. I mean, the crowd was.
I'm curious if that means Zeb Coulter is still very strongly anti-immigrant and grit now on that.
Yeah, I mean, but definitely,
Interesting
stuff there.
does he still hate the British and such? And
Yeah.
or is it just I hate the Russians now?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Like
very interesting.
It makes sense
there.
to a degree of that, but it's just like, are these guys still like have these extreme views to a degree?
Yeah.
Or have they gone moderate now?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Because Zeb's promo was all about First Amendment rights, and you have the right to say this stuff in this country, and so not the whole, well, we got all these immigrants in this country, and they got to get the hell out of here. And stuff.
Yeah. Interesting turn there, I guess you could say.
I mean, during all I heard that on SmackDown, they got a massive pop. When they
I mean, they were getting a pretty big one.
I mean, and the whole We the People doing that.
Yeah.
Granted, I think Swagger's just going to be just getting fed to Rusev. I don't think this.
Yeah, I mean, that's the unfortunate.
I don't see this turning into like a main event push or anything like that. There, I mean, there's people saying, he's getting over now.
Yeah.
I mean, but then people are saying maybe they're just getting over because this is the perfect gimmick to go against this anti-American Russian to a degree.
Yeah.
But no, I don't see Jack being the first guy to win. If it is, it means this guy. It means they got over the whole marijuana arrest deal. Then.
Yeah. I don't know if Money in the Bank. You saw the T-shirt that he came out.
Oh my God, that was brilliant.
That
was brilliant.
Yeah, with the drawn hand. Yeah, I mean. On Raw, I didn't see it wasn't there, but I'd be interested to see like how that would sell like during this. If
it actually tells you where to place your hand.
Right. Yeah. And then he like you see him do it. We the people, and if
it's perfectly over Jack's head.
Yeah, I mean it was. Yeah, I mean it was pretty creative there, but
honestly, I see Rusev staying on the feud.
Yeah, I mean,
I see this. In fact, this might be the feud that just breaks up Zeb and Jack. Period. I think this might be.
I hope it. I mean, I hope it does. I mean, I like to see where this goes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't have to beat Rusev, but I'd be interested in seeing where this goes here. In the long.
Still, I mean, Jack Swagger is a big guy now. In fact, he looked taller than Rusev.
Yeah, he's pretty lanky and but.
Which is shocking that the thing that got Rusev out of the ring was 2 arm drags.
Yeah, that was a little. Yeah, I don't know.
Hit a belly to belly suplex or something.
I guess I guess they want the crowd to look for more. I guess, but
but I would have done more 2 arm drags.
Yeah, that was a little like 2 arm drags, but yeah. So you had that, and then of course AJ Lee returns.
Yeah, massive pop when she came out.
Yeah.
I was confused though. Did Paige turn heel?
I guess. Yeah. I mean, I was a little I mean, coming off that, what was a pretty good match with Naomi and Paige at Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I mean,
I'm also curious too. Is she off the main roster now? All of a sudden, did they just come to the conclusion that she was not ready for the main roster, and they might have pushed her up too fast?
Yeah. I mean, that's like the concern I had with this. Like,
I mean, is she going back to NXT now?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, they have this good match at Money in the Bank, which, they should have longer matches like that more often that are competitive. And Naomi's like, she's no Divas champ. I mean, she doesn't have a track record, but, decent match here.
Well, she was supposedly going to be the person on Total Divas that was going to want to take the belt off AJ originally.
Yeah.
Until Oksana, who's recently got fired, polarized her eye socket.
Yeah.
Which led to her getting, I think it was surgery, and she had to wear an eye patch and so on. I mean, I'm serious. Naomi was supposed to be the person taking the belt off AJ, and then Oksana, who got fired, like I said, she was on that release list, hurt Naomi and polarized her eye socket, literally.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they turned.
I mean, it's kind of scary there too. Yeah. Supposedly she could have gone blind Naomi at one point. Like she could have lost her eye. Period.
Yeah.
It was that bad.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and then they turn Paige heel, I guess, and quick match. She loses by a roll up.